blessed good evening to one and all. Here again in St. George Churchyard. I'm going to do a video now back up to the churchyard. So I would like to, this is the churchyard here. First of all, in this churchyard lieth the remains of my grandmother and uncle from father's side. My father's brother and mother are laid to rest here at St. George Parish Church. St. George Parish Church is the second oldest church in Barbados. Built in 1641, destroyed by the hurricane of 1780, and rebuilt and rededicated in 1784. This tower here was added later in 1958 after the parishioners cleared the tower. The Reverend Leonard Malalou added a tower to St. George Parish Church. So we'll take my time and walk through this cemetery. I don't want to get into any problems. As I said before, my father was born and raised in St. George. Satchmore is my father. It says the bell in this tower were given in memory of Evelyn Mae Mackenzie by her loving husband and children, and they were installed in 1958. The bells became obsolete in 2003. The bells in this tower, the electronic bells now, were donated by George DeVere and Barbara Davis to the glory of God and in loving memory of Cameron Lyle and Mabel Louis Curtis Davis of Walker's Plantation in St. George. This is the western gate. St. George Parish Church is an Anglican Episcopal church. This is also a building of historic and architectural interest of Barbados National Trust property. The grave of Norma Joy Holder, who was the organist from the mid-90s until her death in 2016. Norma Joy Ione Edmondson was her name, but she was married to Jean Holder, and she was a Jamaican national who moved to Barbados after she married her husband, Jean Holder. Her husband, Jean Holder, was a Barbadian who was the chairman of LIAT, which is the airline. So, this is the church cemetery here. St. George Parish Church. As I said before, here lieth the remains of my grandmother and uncle here at St. George's Parish Church. Here in the glebe St. George. As I said before, St. George was carved out of St. Michael between 1640 and 1641. So St. Michael is the mother parish and St. George was carved out of it. So look at the church. I haven't found the grave of Adam Stroll Waterman, who was the one responsible for the rebuilding of the current St. John Parish Church in 1836. He is laid to rest in this cemetery as well. I saw it on the news media thing, but I didn't get to actually see how far it was located, but he's in here resting somewhere. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Have a blessed evening.